If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and comment.
Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel and another tutorial. Today I'm so happy to sew along with you the compact clutch wallet by Sew Yours. Thank you so much for Melissa for allowing me to do this tutorial. This is a fast sew. It's beginner friendly, it's easy. My hardest thing was putting on the clasp bar, but really it's because I used a waterproof canvas instead of the ripstop that she recommends in the pattern. I did not have any, so I just took a hammer and I banged those seams down, and I eventually got the bar on. Yes, so my recommendation is to make sure you use a very thin waterproof canvas or a ripstop, as she says in the pattern. I learned the hard way, but I got it done, so it's okay. Let me show you some of the amazing features of this bag, or this wallet. As you can see, it is super slimline, but it has so much storage. So it has the bar clasp here. All my hardware is from Emmeline Bags. You have 10 card slots down one side, 2 window card slots here, a slip pocket there, a zipper pocket here, and another slip pocket here. Like, so much room. And so many pockets. It is amazing. Materials I used in this bag, again, I got my my bar clasp from Emmeline Bags. That's really it for hardware besides the zippers and zipper pulls, which I also got from Emmeline Bags. This fabric panel is this is a great scrap buster, I tell you. This is option number 2. There are 4 different options of how you can make this with color blocking or whatever. I decided to do option number 2 because I had the scrap of this beautiful fairy vinyl from my fabric dresser up here in Canada, and I just had to do it. Now, it is recommended that you use a non-directional fabric, but for this one, it didn't really matter. I don't think, like, this is her arm, but I think when it's on the back, you don't even really know what it is. It just looks like pretty design with butterflies. So it worked really well with this panel, and I was very impressed with my fussy cutting because it turned out perfect. I used the linen waterproof canvas from Galaxy Customs, which is my favorite liner for all bags and wallets for everything. It was slightly too thick. I was good on this side, but this side here where other card slots are, I had to hammer down these seams like no tomorrow to get the bar clasp on, just because it was a little bit too thick. So definitely follow Melissa's instructions of using a thinner waterproof canvas or a ripstop. It did work with this. I got it to go in. I actually ended up cutting out some of the Decovil Heavy in this area, just by this 1/2 inch or so that the bar clasp was, and then I was able to get it on. So that works. And again, I hammered all the seams. You'll see that as we go through. Interfacing the bag, again, just some Decovil Heavy. You have to use non-fraying fabrics for the majority of this. You could probably actually use a cotton in here if you wanted to, except for on this zipper here. That has to be a non-fraying fabric. And of course, for any of these overlays, they're all raw edge. But for the main card slots and pockets, they're all enclosed. So you could definitely use a cotton. Maybe that's what I will do my next one, and see how that turns out, just to make it a little bit thinner, because I don't know where to get ripstop here in Canada. If anybody knows, please let me know. Yeah, I did end up I didn't have any E6000 glue or whatever glue, and I didn't think my fabric tack was going to hold this on. So I put my screws on. I did use some, what's it called? This stuff, thread locker. And then I just went and I put a dollop of crazy glue on all the screws too, just to make sure they stayed in place. So yeah, again, super fast sew. This is a super short tutorial. We do have a course series, the November 2025 courses on the membership side of the channel for this. There's 2 courses there to finish this off. It's maybe a 2-hour sew, you guys. Like, it's so very fast. So if you want a slowed down version, you can always join the membership. That's linked down below, so you can take the real-time course with me and sew along with me. You can pause and all that stuff, but it's all real time. Yeah, and again, the membership, it works in a way that all the new courses, are good for 6 months to the tiers 3 and 4. And then after 6 months, it starts moving down a tier until it gets to 18 months, which is when it goes free to the public side of the channel. So make sure you check out the membership courses. If you go to my YouTube page, you'll see courses at the top, and you'll see all the courses that I have done since 2022. Some are free, some are memberships, different levels of membership. Anyways, if you have any questions about that, definitely shoot me a message. All my information is down below. And I forgot to mention, this here is a scrap of patina from Galaxy Customs. This is from my fabric dresser. And again, I said my waterproof canvas is from Galaxy Customs as well. Anyways, how about we get to making this bag?
So you're going to need a bar clasp, some number 5 zipper tape, a zipper pull, and your nameplate. You're going to need your exterior panel B1 and B2 for option 2. You're going to need your lining material and your Decovil Heavy piece, your pattern piece E zipper pocket, pattern piece F cash slip pocket, pattern piece G1 credit card slot back, pattern pieces G2 10 card slots, pattern piece G3 credit card slot binding, and then the optional clear card slots as well as the credit card slot binding. I'm also going to be using some glue and some thread locker. First thing we're going to do is take our 2 exterior pieces, B1, B2, place them like so with the panel on the left. I'm going to put these right sides together and clip in place along the right side of that pattern piece B1. Once you have that all clipped, you're going to take this to machine and sew down here with the seam allowance stated in the pattern. We want to make sure we are reducing some bulk for when we go to put the bar clasp in. So what we're going to do with that seam we just sewn is we are going to butterfly it open. I'm going to use some double-sided tape to help hold my seam in place. You can just finger press this if you want to. Just make sure you get it nice and flat. As you can see here, I'm using the tape as my pressing agent to press it open. Then we're going to take this to the machine and we are going to top stitch along each side of that seam to hold that seam in place. That is pretty much the exterior done. So what we want to do now is you're going to draw 2 lines as per the pattern for those measurements. I can't give out those measurements, but your Decovil Heavy piece should fit perfectly in between those lines. I'm a little off center here because I cut weird, but that's okay. Go ahead, fuse that on. I also went ahead and I put my nameplate on. I'm putting it on the side here because I didn't want it to land in the middle of my fairy's face there, so I think it works really well. I'm also going to go ahead and I'm going to edge paint the 2 raw edges of this. If you need a class on how to do that, it's down below in the description. While that is drying, we're going to go ahead and start on our coin pocket for pattern piece E. I'm just going to take my lighter and make sure there's no little fray pieces there. Now I have my zipper pull in the middle of my zipper tape. That just makes it easier to sew. Take some double-sided tape and put it right along the wrong side, along that bottom straight edge of that cutout opening. And we are going to put this over top of our zipper tape, both right side up, and it should line up nice and perfect like so. Once you have that all lined up, you're going to go ahead and top stitch down here, across here, and up here. Once that is complete, you can go ahead and trim up your zipper tape as close as you can to the stitching just to free up some of the bulk that we do not want to be in the seam allowances for when we go to put this all together. I'm going to go ahead, take my lighter just to get rid of any fraying pieces of the zipper, and then you can put this aside for now. Next, we're going to work on the optional clear card slots, H1 and H2. What you're going to do is take the clear card slot binding and draw a center line like I have done here. I'm going to put double-sided tape on either side of that line. Again, this is raw edge, so you want to make sure you're using a non-fraying fabric. We're going to take the paper off of one of those pieces of tape, and we're going to take our clear card slots and line it up right at the bottom of that line, sticking it to the tape. Once you have that placed perfectly, go ahead and take off the paper off the other side and fold it over, making sure that the vinyl lines up together. That way you will not see it on either side. Then we're going to go ahead and we're going to top stitch right across that binding with 2 different lines of top stitching at the measurements in the pattern. Once that is done, you want to go ahead and get your card slip pocket. Make sure you have it orientated properly as per the pattern so you have the right side up, because it is not a square piece. You're going to fold this wrong sides together in half, hold it in place with some clips, and then top stitch along that fold. Now that that's done, you're going to go ahead and you're going to find the center of the clear card slot piece, which I have done, and you're going to line up the bottom raw edges, both of these right side up of your slip pocket and your clear card slots. And what we're going to do is we're going to baste the raw edges together as well as stitch up that center line to create 2 card slots. Now you do not have to baste these sides here. You can do that in the next step, but I'm going to do it just to make sure everything holds into place. Next, you're going to take your coin pocket here and that slip pocket that we just finished, place them on top, both right side up, and we are going to line up the sides and the bottom and then baste those in place. Now this is what that looks like all done. Pretty fast panel to put together, just love making this. Next, you're going to take your lining piece and you're going to draw a line from the left hand side as per the pattern measurement. Then you're going to take your zipper panel and we're going to put some double-sided tape just along that top of that unsewn side of the zipper. And then we're going to stick these right sides together so our zipper pocket will be face down, and we're going to put that zipper right along the right hand side of that line. Next, you're going to go ahead and you're going to sew that in place with the seam allowance in the pattern, and then we're going to flip it over so it's wrong sides, or they're both right side up like so, and then we're going to baste those sides in place. You'd line up the bottom and the side and baste in place. Now that that's all done, we're going to work on our card slots. So we're going to take all of our card slots. I went for the option of cutting all 10, and we are going to fold these right sides or wrong sides together. Make sure you have the pieces orientated properly so you have the right size of card slot. Again, these are rectangle pieces, so make sure you double check the pattern there for which way to do that. Clip in place, and then you're going to top stitch along the top fold for all 10 pieces. So all 10 pieces are done, and I'm going to take my card slot backing, my G1 piece, and you are going to see on the pattern piece we have all these lines for a guide here. So we're going to transfer those lines with an erasable pen onto the right hand side. So what I'm going to do is just kind of draw one side like so, and then do the same for the opposite side. Then we're going to go in with our ruler and join those lines. I'm just using my Sew Line Air Erasing pen. I put a T at the top so I don't mix up what is the top and which is the bottom. Once you have all of those done, what you're going to do is you take your first card slot and you're going to line it up with the first card slot line. And it should line up perfectly all around, matching up those raw edges. So hold that in place like so, and then go ahead and sew with the seam allowance across the bottom. That's our first card slot. It looks good. I'm going to take the next one and we're going to line it up with card slot number 2 line. The top of it like so. A couple clips to hold in place, and then you're going to go ahead and sew across the bottom of that card slot as per the pattern. You'll do the same and repeat it for all 10 card slots until all 10 card slots are done. That's what this looks like all done. Now what we want to do is we are just going to hold these in place because we're going to base them in place. Now you're going to see two different seam allowances, different from the left and the right hand side. So make sure you check the pattern for what those seam allowances are for this base and go ahead and base these two in place, making sure you go from the bottom to the top. That's why your card slots will have a lot less shifting that way. So go from the bottom all the way up to the top with those two seam allowances suggested in the pattern. If that's done, we're going to take our card slot binding piece. This is going to go on the left hand side. You're going to put these right sides together, just like so, clip in place, and then sew through this with the seam allowance in the pattern. Done, you're going to go ahead and you're going to press the seam towards the side, and then you're going to bring that binding up and over using that seam as our edge for folding it over as our guide, like so. And you're going to go ahead and you are going to top stitch this with the seam allowance in the pattern. Double check your card slots still fit and go ahead and top stitch through here. Once that's done, go ahead and trim off any excess fabric off of the binding, about 1/8 of an inch or so away from your top stitching line. Now that that's done, we have to trim this up to be the measurement that is stated in the pattern along that right raw edge. So go ahead and measure that up and trim that up. This is how much I had to cut off. It all looks good. I'm going to make sure again that my cards fit, and they still do. All right, now we're going to bring out our lining piece like so. We're going to line that raw edge of those card slots up with the raw edge on the right hand side of our lining piece. It should match up perfectly along the top and bottom, clip in place. And then you're going to go ahead and you are going to baste. Make sure you do not baste that second or the inside part, because the inside part is our slip pocket. So go ahead and baste all the way around. Time to put it all together. So you're going to take your exterior and your lining like so. Decide which way you want it orientated, whether you want your card slots at the top or what have you. Once you've made that decision, put these right sides together. You're going to line the lining up right up against where the Decovil Heavy is. It should be the same width. Go ahead and baste the top and the bottom. Now I'm going to take some 1/8 inch double-sided tape and I'm going to put it along that wrong side of the exterior that's hanging past. This is just going to help hold this in place as we're using the exterior as our binding. You're going to go ahead and you're going to fold that over and hold with some clips to enclose that raw edge. You will do the exact same thing with the opposite side. Once in place, you're going to go ahead and you're going to top stitch from the lining side, making sure your bobbin looks good to secure that binding in place and to attach the exterior to the lining. Now it's time to install our hardware. So we're going to need to find a punch where you can punch through this hole through the fabric. You want to find one that's similar in size. Mine's a little bit bigger, but I'm just going to kind of move it up. You do not want it to be any bigger than the bar, otherwise your hole is going to show through the bottom of the bar. So we want to put the one with the clip on the back and the one with the hole on the front. So I'm just going to slide this on here onto the front. This side slides on nice and easy, as you can see. And I'm going to take an air erase pen, and I'm just going to mark where that cutout needs to be for our flip block. And then I'm going to go ahead with my punch. You can do it with scissors as well. It's just a lot easier with a leather punch. And I am going to go ahead and I am going to punch out that hole. Make sure you don't go past the markings because you don't want it to show below your bar once it's installed. So again, I'm just going to put this over top of that marking and hit it with my mallet until it makes that hole. Takes a little bit of time to get through that plastic, but it was okay for me. We're almost there. Definitely do not do this on your cutting mat or it will leave a hole in it. That's why I'm using this handy dandy cutting board that Riley made for me when he was in grade 10 woodshop class. It's one of my favorite tools, actually. Okay, once you have that all done, like I have here, kind of use a lighter to get rid of any fray and go ahead and install that bar. You'll want the screw side to be upon the inside. Make sure your hole matches up, which it does. Next, you're going to go ahead and install the other one on the other side. You can put some glue along here if you want to. I didn't because I didn't have any, but I'm going to use some thread locker, so it'll be good. Now this is where you're going to see I struggle a little bit because my materials I chose were a little bit too thick, so I'm just going to hammer that down until I can get it to slide on, and I did get it on eventually. So this is why don't be like Brandy and actually use the materials that she suggests in the pattern. I mean, I did make it work, but it could have been a lot easier if I had a thinner aligning fabric. So go ahead and install that as per the manufacturer's instructions. Make sure everything fits before we put in the screws. Everything lines up perfectly. So now what you can do is go ahead and put in your screws with some thread locker, or as per your manufacturer's install things. I'm just going to use my little electric screwdriver and do that. I've done that and I've gone ahead and I put in a little bit of crazy glue on top of all of the little screws just to make sure they're not going to go anywhere. Do you know what, guys? That's it. That's all. She is all done. Just pat yourself on the back. Look how amazing this turned out. It's super fast, super pretty, and just like that, we're done.
All right, that's it. That's all. Super fast, super easy, super satisfying. I'm going to get a ton of these all made up for my markets. I have 3 more markets this year, and I just think they're a great fast sew. They're a scrap buster. I can go through my scrap bin and get rid of a whole bunch of that and make some money off of it. That's my hope anyways. Anyways, if at any time you did like this video, please do give me a thumbs up. Shoot me a comment down below. Let me know you were here. If you made it to the end, how about in the comments put like a little fairy or star or something in the comments, just so I know you made it all the way to the end. Again, check out the membership side, especially if you want to take the 2-class course on this. And oh yeah, if you want to support the channel further, you can always donate to my coffee account, buy me a coffee. That's linked down below. All the money of the coffee account goes back into the channel where I buy new equipment and that kind of thing to make videos better. Anyways, until the next one, I'll catch you guys again. Bye.